when I was 18, I ran into a burning wreckage to save Eric. Since then, I've been paralyzed from the waist down, in a shabby rented apartment. He proposed to me with a soda can tab. Julia, you're the only one I want to marry in this life. After we got married, a sketch he drew, titled My Disabled Wife, made him famous overnight. He became known as the most devoted artist on the internet, and his paintings soared in value. But 10 years into our marriage, I found a different portrait in his study, one of his first love. As I crumbled, Eric simply looked at me and said, emotionless, if it weren't for me, you'd never have this kind of life. And besides, it was you who had no self-respect. I tricked you with a soda tab. Someone so cheap, how could you ever compare to Lisa? Later, I granted his wish. I gave him and Lisa my blessing, but it was Eric who finally broke down. Clutching my wheelchair in tears, Julia, please don't leave me. Didn't we promise to stay together forever? Chapter 1. Last night, my husband got drunk and fell asleep in the study. This morning, while cleaning, I stumbled upon a thick stack of sketches. Some old, some new. The top one even had tear stains. And the woman in the portrait. I knew her. It was Lisa, his unattainable little princess from years ago. I held back tears, telling myself not to overthink it, to trust Eric. But the small note beneath the sketch shattered my last hope completely. My wife, Lisa. I should have seen the signs. Lately, Eric had been coming home late, wearing unfamiliar perfume. Only his fans still believed in his wife-loving persona. Those close to us knew the truth. Eric hadn't loved me in a long time. His heart had always belonged to that unreachable white moonlight. I stared at that one line. Silent tears fell. Then what about me? What am I to him? It was already late at night when Eric finally came home. The moment he stepped in, he pointed his camera straight at me, disheveled, sitting in my wheelchair. Hey fam! What's it like to spoil your disabled wife to the moon and back? He pulled a bouquet of roses from behind his back. Voice gentle. Baby, today marks our 3,666th day together. I bought you these roses. I had cried my eyes out that afternoon. I looked an absolute mess. I wasn't even wearing a bra. I tried to avoid the camera, face flushed with shame. Eric, please stop filming. I'm begging you. He frowned slightly, displeased, but turned the camera away. Sorry, fam, my wife's a little moody today. But hey, she's disabled. Emotional instability comes with the territory, right? Then he picked up several sketches from the table and turned back to the camera. These are my latest works, inspired, of course, by my love for my wife. Starting bid, $99,999. First come, first served. He saw my tears but didn't care. He just turned away. All the questions and anger swelling in me died in my throat. The secret to success is spoiling your wife. A man who loves his wife will go far, even though mine's a cripple. I've never minded. Each word slammed into me like a hammer. I stared at his back and felt like the man in front of me was a complete stranger. Chapter 2. The next morning, Eric's video went viral again. The title read, "What's it like to spoil a disabled wife rotten?" The thumbnail? Me, slumped in a wheelchair. Hair messy, wearing home clothes. Looking pale, sunken-eyed, almost deranged. I stared at that pathetic version of myself. What little dignity I had left was trampled completely. Now the whole world knew. I was nothing but a cripple who lived off her husband. And yet, after becoming disabled, I had tried so hard to live like a normal person. I didn't want to burden Eric, but never before had I been so painfully aware I was a useless cripple. Even I found that image of myself disgusting. Oh my God, Eric is too sweet. This is real love. He can even kiss that face. What kind of heavenly karma did she earn in a past life to marry such a perfect man? Ah, I want to buy 100 paintings. Don't fight me. If I can't marry someone like Eric, I'll just spend money to soothe myself. Buy them all. Men who love their wives deserve to be rich. Eric is proof. Am I the only one who thinks this woman is so ungrateful? She's literally disabled and Eric treats her so well, why the attitude? Instead of dragging him down, maybe she should learn to appreciate what she has. My grip on my phone tightened violently as I read that top comment. No, it's not like that. I wanted to scream, to fight back. But no one would believe me. No one even cared. Of course not. I was alone, paralyzed from the waist down, adrift in this world like a weed in the wind. Eric treated me so well, yet I was still ungrateful. But who knew I became disabled? Because I ran into a burning building at 18. To save him? No one knew. No one cared. Chapter 3. At noon, I packed up a thermal lunchbox and headed to Eric's company. But as soon as I reached the front desk, the receptionist stopped me. Ma'am, without an appointment, we can't let you in. I caught the disdain in her eyes, and it stabbed deep into my chest. How ridiculous. The internet's most famous wife-loving husband. And yet, his own company's receptionist didn't recognize me. Left with no choice, I called Eric. It took half an hour before he picked up. The receptionist sneered and finally said, "Go ahead." Before I could move far, I heard them gossiping behind my back, without even whispering. So that's Eric's crippled wife? She's hideous. Can't believe he married that, right? Compared to her upstairs, this one's a joke. I heard Eric doesn't even like answering her calls. I sat by the elevator, hearing every single word loud and clear. The shame was crushing. Waves of humiliation threatened to drown me. I knew. Of course I knew. The receptionist didn't actually not recognize me. She just didn't want me to interrupt Eric. And her, the woman upstairs. But still, I came. Maybe I was the one being foolish. After all, Eric's devoted husband persona didn't just ruin my life. It was also fooling the whole world. I didn't want to be part of this lie anymore. Chapter 4. Inside Eric's office, a beautiful, elegant woman danced closely with a tall, handsome man. They moved in sync to the soft waltz playing in the background. The room is thick with flirtation and intimacy, until I knocked on the door. When she saw me, the woman's lovely brows scrunched in annoyance. "Eric, I didn't know you were so whipped. Your wife actually followed you all the way here." Eric smiled helplessly, his voice indulgent. "Lisa, come on, you know all that stuff online is fake. There's no real affection between me and her." He wasn't even trying to hide it anymore. Lisa looked satisfied, but still let out a mocking snort. Some people really don't know when they're not wanted. Huh? Why force yourself into someone else's space? As she spoke, her sharp stiletto accidentally came down hard on my foot. A sharp, piercing pain shot through me. My hand shook, and the thermal lunchbox slipped from my fingers. Clang! Scalding, greasy soup spilled all over my lap. My thighs turned bright red from the burn. I bit my lip hard, tears instantly welling up. But Eric didn't even glance at me. He was kneeling at Lisa's feet, gently wiping oil off her heels. Ugh, how annoying. "You ruined my brand new shoes. You better buy me a new pair." She pouted petulantly, leaning coquettishly toward him, and then turned to me with a condescending sneer. I trembled all over, whether from pain or rage. I couldn't tell anymore. I just knew. In that moment, the boy I once loved was gone forever. Chapter 5. Actually, I liked Eric first. Back then, I was an orphan. The government paid for my schooling. I was so poor I couldn't even afford food most days. But I loved dancing, and my teacher said I had talent, even better than Lisa, the rich girl who'd trained since childhood. So I used every penny I could scrape together for dance lessons. Sometimes I couldn't even afford a single egg for breakfast. Eric sat next to me in class. Every morning, my stomach would growl over and over again. I was mortified, but Eric always pretended not to hear. Then 1 week later, I started finding steamed meat buns in my desk drawer. I didn't know who left them, until one day, after dance class, I caught a glimpse of Eric slipping some snacks into my desk. From that moment on, my heart was lost, and it never came back. I chased Eric for a long time, but he never agreed to be with me, until one day, I followed him home, only to witness his entire neighborhood engulfed in flames. An electrical fire had broken out in the old apartment block. I didn't think. I just ran in, and when the burning beam collapsed, I threw myself in front of him. Then I blacked out. The next time I opened my eyes, I was in the hospital. The doctor told me I'd lost the use of my legs. I would never dance again. I broke down. I wanted to die. Until Eric came to see me. He wore a faded t-shirt, but his gaze was steady and warm. He said, "Julia, I'll marry you. Live, for me. If nothing else." I fell into his arms and sobbed uncontrollably. He held me tight, tears falling too, as he whispered promise after promise. "Julia, I swear, for the rest of your life, I'll never let you suffer again." That night, we held each other like two people drowning, clinging to the last straw left in the world. I think we did love each other once. Those moments of warmth and truth, they weren't lies. It's just, he stopped loving me. Chapter 6. That evening, Eric came home unusually early. His hair was carefully styled, and though he wore loungewear, every detail screamed deliberate sophistication. "Get ready, we're going live soon." He placed a spread of delicious food on the table, then looked at me, frowning slightly. "Why do you look so pale today?" Before I could reply, he chuckled. "Actually, it's better this way, more authentic." I clenched my fists, glancing in disgust at the phone set beside the dinner plates. My voice trembled with quiet desperation. "Eric, I don't feel well today. Can we skip the live stream just this once?" His brows immediately drew together. Impatience seeped into his voice. "Julia, stop making a fuss. Yes, I admit yesterday was a bit over the line. But you need to understand, Lisa is one of the company's investors. I have to consider her feelings. Without my compromises, you wouldn't have this comfortable life. And what about me? What about my feelings?" I wanted to scream, to demand answers, but facing his annoyed gaze, my throat closed up. All I felt was pain, so intense, it stole my breath. Seeing I still wouldn't yield, Eric grew visibly irritated. Still, he kept his tone calm, but laced it with a quiet threat. "Julia, don't you want to walk again? You need money for that, right? Be good, help me finish the live stream, and I'll take you for treatment." His cold eyes pierced through me, and in that moment, it felt like something tore inside my chest. This was the person closest to me. He always knew exactly which knife would hurt the most. He knew how desperately I longed to stand again, so he chained me with it, used my dream to cage me, and I had no way to break free. Chapter 7. The next morning, Eric left early again. When I woke up, the only thing on my nightstand was a bank card. I knew what it meant. It was money for my upcoming medical tests, and a reward for my obedience last night. It started pouring outside today. The roads were slick, and I struggled to push my wheelchair uphill. I tried several times, but couldn't make it. Pedestrians rushed by me without a glance. My umbrella had been blown away by the wind, and I sat there alone, soaked and miserable. Rain poured relentlessly. After yet another failed attempt, my eyes turned red. Why is life like this? I've tried so hard. All I want is to walk again, to stop relying on anyone just to live. Why is that so hard? My vision blurred. I couldn't tell if it was the rain or my tears. Suddenly, I felt the wheelchair being lifted, a strong force behind me. Before I knew it, I was inside the hospital. I turned around. Behind me stood a man. His head was slightly lowered, sharp features, a tall nose, and dark eyes locked on me like a predator eyeing its prey. Before I could say a word, he draped his coat over me. His tone was cool and indifferent. "Julia, you've really outdone yourself. How did you let yourself end up like this?" Chapter 8. His face seemed vaguely familiar. I blinked. Bruno. In high school, we were sworn rivals, competing fiercely on every exam. But after I dropped out due to my injury, he left to study abroad. We never spoke again. By the time I snapped back to reality, I was already at the exam room door. I looked at him in confusion. How did he know I had an appointment here? But before I could ask, The nurse had already wheeled me into the room. "Your leg nerves aren't completely damaged," said the doctor. "With surgery and rehab, there's a chance you could walk again." My eyes lit up. All the clouds in my heart cleared in an instant, but my voice still trembled with cautious hope. "Really? You're not lying to me? I can really stand up again?" The doctor chuckled. "No, I'm not lying. There's still hope. It's just, the delay over these years will make surgery more complicated." But I was already more than content. If I can stand again, then maybe, there's still hope for everything. Before I left, the doctor walked me to the door, glancing at Bruno waiting outside. He smiled and said, "You're in luck, Mr. Bruno. I can go home by myself. You can go about your day, no need to bother." "Shut up." He frowned, voice sharp with irritation. "It's raining cats and dogs. How the hell are you getting home on your own?" "Julia, your legs are broken." "But what? Your brain got messed up too." I lowered my head, not saying another word, but a warm, aching heat surged through my chest. I knew this man well. Bruno had always been the kind who said one thing and meant another. The car door opened. Before I could react, Bruno suddenly scooped me up. I gasped. His body was hot, his scent clean and familiar. I froze completely, instinctively trying to push him away. "Julia, don't move, or are you trying to fall and die?" he muttered through clenched teeth. I went completely still. Seeing that I stopped struggling, Bruno let out a quiet breath. Then gently, though awkwardly, placed me in the car. "You're such a pain." At that, I looked up at him, and saw his ears, pale white, flushed red. Bruno drove smoothly. The temperature had dropped, so he'd turned on the heater. Outside the window, buildings blurred past in streaks. In the soft hum of the ride, all my tension faded. I fell asleep. By the time I woke, the sky was already dark. I blinked, staring at the familiar buildings outside, momentarily dazed. "Awake?" It was Bruno's voice. He was looking at me, lips tugged into a smirk. "Do you know how sweet you were sleeping just now? You even drooled." As he spoke, he pointed to the corner of his mouth. Embarrassed, I quickly wiped mine, only to realize there was nothing there. His teasing grin said it all. I'd been played. The mood had grown so light that my words came without thinking. "Bruno, you're such an idiot." We both froze. In the past, he loved to tease me, and I'd always scold him the same way, looking into his stunned eyes. For a moment, it felt like we were back in those carefree school days, but we both knew we could never go back. After a long silence, I spoke softly. "Today, thank you, but from now on, let's not see each other again." With those words, I turned to leave. Just as I opened the car door, Bruno suddenly grabbed my wrist. His handsome features and clear eyes were exactly as I remembered from years ago. "Julia, I can help you." There was sincerity and anticipation in his eyes. "I can help. I'll find the best doctor for you. Let's cure your legs." "Leave him." He looked at me nervously after saying that. I froze. Suddenly, I understood what the doctor meant earlier when he said I was lucky. No wonder the doctor, who I'd tried to book for years, suddenly reached out. No wonder I coincidentally ran into Bruno today. I looked at the tips of Bruno's ears, flushed bright red, as if burned. I jerked my hand away. "Thank you, but no." I turned and fled. I knew what he meant, but what he wanted, I couldn't give. He was too good. I couldn't drag him down with me. Chapter 9. When I returned home, to my surprise, Eric was there. He stood by the window, his expression dark and stormy. Well, Julia, look at you, getting bold now. Huh? I told you to go to the hospital to get treatment, not to flirt with some random guy." His disgust pierced through me. I shook my head in panic, trying to explain. "It's not like that. Mr. Bruno just drove me back." "We didn't." "Mr. Bruno?" Eric stormed over and grabbed my jaw tightly. His smile was ice cold. "You already know his name? That fast? What? Give it another half hour and you'll be in bed with him?" His words were pure poison. I stared at him in shock. I couldn't believe he actually said that to me. "What's with that look? Surprised?" He sneered. Please, you're nothing but a cheap woman. Didn't you hop into my bed for a damn soda-can tab? What kind of dignity does someone like you even have? His fingers dug cruelly into my skin, but the pain in my heart hurt far, far more. The world seemed to pause. All I could see was Eric's cruel, twisted face. It felt like my heart was cracking open, inch by inch. So this was what he'd thought all along. In his eyes, I was worthless, shameless. Then what were these past 10 years? Just a joke? Tears streamed down my face. My heart ached so much it trembled. Yet I still forced a smile and replied to him. Yeah, Eric, I slept with him. So what? Isn't stabbing someone in the back something anyone can do? I looked at his face turning completely cold. Suddenly, Eric yanked me up, ignoring the pain on my face. He threw me onto the bed, like a beast gone mad. He tore at my clothes, ignoring my desperate, gut-wrenching resistance. Eric, get the hell off me. Let me go. Don't touch me. You're disgusting. He pinned my legs down and slapped me hard across the face. Then leaned over me. Disgusting? Julia, who the hell are you to call me disgusting? You've already been used up by other men, haven't you? I thought that after you became a cripple, you'd learn to behave. But turns out you're still so damn good at seducing men. His words stunned me. I forgot even to struggle and stared at him in disbelief. The stench of alcohol on his breath made me nauseous as he clenched a cigarette between his teeth. He said nothing more, only continued his actions. In the end, he rammed himself into my body. Ah! I trembled from the pain, screaming aloud, cold sweat pouring from my forehead. I could even feel blood beneath me, but Eric only kept venting, eyes bloodshot, spitting out threats like venom. Julia, you crippled bitch, how dare you try to leave me? Those words pierced my already shattered heart like knives. I felt like a rag being torn apart over and over. My tears had long dried up, eyes wide open. I stared blankly at the ceiling in despair. At last, Eric was done. He passed out next to me, snoring loudly. And I was tossed aside like garbage, my body torn, the bedsheets already stained with blood. In the middle of the night, I dragged my battered body to the bathroom and took a shower, again and again, until my skin turned red from scrubbing. But no matter how much I washed, I couldn't scrub off the filth or the despair lodged deep inside me. Before Eric woke up, I packed my things and left the villa, pushing my wheelchair under the glowing neon lights. I suddenly realized I had nowhere to go. Staring at my own reflection, at the worn-out face in the glass, my tears fell again. My chest ached so much I couldn't breathe. Clutching my heart, I broke down and cried like never before. Chapter 10. Why did it turn out like this? Maybe I never truly knew Eric at all. I slept for a long time. When I finally woke up, I found myself lying in an unfamiliar bedroom. You're awake. A knock came shortly after. Come in. Bruno placed a glass of water on the nightstand, pressed his lips together, and said gently, I rented this place for you. If you're not ready for surgery, we can talk about it later. I know your English is good. I got you a job as a translator. Start with that. Let me know if you need anything. He rambled on, and when he saw I wanted to speak, he quickly added, you don't have to rush to turn me down. It's really nothing for me financially. Besides, you can always repay me through the translation work. His voice was gentle, but there was a calm firmness that allowed no refusal. Yet if you looked closely, you could see a flicker of cautious care in his eyes. Suddenly, my eyes burned with heat. After a long silence, I finally responded to Bruno. Okay, I accept. So I moved into the apartment Bruno rented for me. Although he said there was no need, I insisted on writing an IOU. I would repay every cent one day. He would occasionally bring me small things, not expensive, just snacks and drinks. Every day, I was either studying or working. Slowly, life began to feel full again. For the first time in a long while, I felt a sense of peace. But that day, I suddenly received a call from Eric. Julia, you've been out there long enough. You should have come to your senses by now. I'm live streaming tonight. Come home already. I won't hold that day's incident against you. Before he could finish, I cut him off. Mr. Eric, didn't you see the divorce papers I left at the door? I've signed them. I don't want anything more to do with you. I'm not coming back. Divorce? Eric's voice shot up in pitch, then turned into a cold laugh. Julia, you're a cripple. How do you think you'll survive out there? Then he softened his tone. Julia, be good. Stop being difficult. I admit, I was a bit harsh last time. I won't do that again. Just be good and come home, okay? I listened to his voice, but all I felt was exhaustion. He was always like this, always telling me he went too far this time, that he'd change next time, but he never would. Eric, give it up. I'm never going back. With that, I hung up. Chapter 11. I never expected that just a short while later, Eric would release an audio recording. It was from our last phone call, but it had been edited. All the parts where he threatened me were removed, leaving only the sweet talking bits. And me, cold, firm, and heartless. That made Eric sound pitiful and humble. The internet exploded. WTF? I'm so pissed. Why is this woman acting like a queen? Eric was begging her and she still played hard to get. Typical fake saint. Spending Eric's money while pulling this running away from home drama. Disgusting. Right? She's a cripple. How the hell is she surviving out there? Probably still using Eric's name. Eric is too good. Why do men like him never end up with me? Eric's caption was full of fake humility with hidden manipulation. Julia, I made a small mistake last time. I know you're mad, but you've been gone for half a month. I'm really worried. Can you all help me convince her to come home? Julia, please, just come back. I stared at that post, on the surface humble, but a veiled threat, and felt sick to my stomach. Eric, he was trying to force me to bow down with this. Am I the only one who feels like the reason she left must be something serious? Why would a guy who really loved her call her a cripple? Pfft, sounds like someone's jealous of a guy as good as Eric. Exactly. Who's down to head to City C? I can't stand watching Eric suffer like this. And then, the online storm kept growing. Not only was I being attacked everywhere on the internet, but someone even leaked my address. Red paint was thrown on my door, words written in thick red letters. Slut. Go back where you came from. Looking at the vandalized entrance, rage and hopelessness surged inside me. That's when a figure suddenly emerged from the corner. It was Lisa, wearing 6-inch heels. Makeup still flawless, though her eyes revealed her exhaustion. Lisa stared at the doorway, as if satisfied. Looks like those fans of yours aren't so useless after all. I glared at her. You're the one who leaked my address. Lisa raised an eyebrow and smiled. Well, aren't you clever? Just after saying that, her face suddenly twisted. You deserve it. You crippled bitch. You should have died in that fire. Why the hell are you still alive? Clinging to Eric? Lisa couldn't stop thinking about the name Eric had drunkenly called that night. It made her blood boil. You, an orphan. A penniless nobody. How dare you dance better than me? I hate you. I've hated you since we were kids. Good thing you were stupid enough to believe the plan Eric and I made. You rushed right into the fire like a brainless fool. But why? Why was it just your leg that got ruined? Why the hell did someone save you? Why didn't you just die? Her words roared in my head, buzzing like a storm. My lips moved, but I didn't know what to say. That fire, you mean it was all you're doing? I stared at the beautiful woman in front of me, only to see a demon crawling straight out of hell. Just because of her jealousy, she had plotted a fire to kill me. I lost my leg. I'll never dance again. But it still wasn't enough for her. Why? Why was I so stupid? I trusted those two monsters, and buried my own future with my own hands. The hatred surged within me. I hated them so much. Trash like you was born beneath me. You were only ever a tool for Eric to make money. Don't tell me you actually thought he loved you. Die. Just die. If you're gone, Eric will finally love me and only me. But by then, I was already drowning in anger and agony. Her words no longer registered. I didn't even notice Lisa's face turning deranged as she charged at me with a knife in her hand. Then suddenly, Bruno appeared. He kicked her hard to the ground and wrapped me in his arms, shielding me. Seeing the pain and despair in my eyes, Bruno's gaze turned bloodshot with sorrow. It's okay now, Julia. It's okay. I'm here. Smelling his familiar scent, the dam inside me broke. I burst into tears. crying uncontrollably. Chapter 12. After I'd finally cried everything out, Bruno handed me a stack of documents. Take a look. I had no strength left in me after all the sobbing, but the moment I saw what was in the file, I lifted my head sharply and looked at the man sitting beside the sofa. These are all the documents I've gathered, evidence of how Lisa and Eric framed you back then, and proof of Eric's affairs after your marriage, along with his emotional abuse. He looked at me, his eyes as gentle as ever. Julia, take these to the police. With this, they're done. Looking at the pain and patience in his eyes, I swallowed the lump in my throat and shook my head. No, I want revenge, myself. I gripped the documents so tightly they crumpled. My eyes stared coldly at Eric's livestream on my phone, hatred burning deep in my gaze. I'll make them pay, with blood. Chapter 13. The next day, I called Eric. I told him the divorce was a moment of impulsiveness, that I still couldn't live without him. Now, all I wanted was his forgiveness. Eric laughed smugly. His voice made my stomach churn. Julia, if only you had come to your senses earlier, how nice that would have been. I swallowed my disgust and forced a pitiful tone. Eric, I'll be obedient from now on. I won't ever run away again. When we get back together, let's stream it. After all, it'll get a ton of views, and we can make some real money. Eric seemed surprised, more than that, suspicious. Since when did you care so much about making money, Julia? I lowered my head and replied timidly, well, I still need you to take me to get treatment for my leg. Eric, you're the only one I can rely on. Sure enough, he believed me instantly. Perfect. We'll stream together that day, let everyone see how in love we are. Chapter 14. The day of the live stream arrived quickly. Still, seeing the viewer count hit over 100,000 left me stunned. I always knew Eric's account made good money, but I hadn't realized it was this successful. Then again, most of that success had come from bleeding me dry. I pushed down the cold light in my eyes and put on a soft, submissive smile. Eric, it was all my fault before. I promise I'll behave from now on. As I spoke, I rested my head gently on Eric's shoulder. His hands were trembling slightly, his eyes turned red, and his voice cracked with emotion. Julia, I really thought you'd left me for good. His acting was flawless. So flawless. I almost believed he truly loved me. Almost. From the corner of my eye, I spotted Lisa clenching her teeth in fury. I couldn't help but smile. The real show was only just beginning. Aw, they're so in love. This is too sweet. Told you Julia would come back. She was just playing hard to get. That's what girls do. Eric is such a catch. No wonder she didn't let go. Get out of my way. I'm placing 1,000 orders of Eric's paintings right now. The chat messages scrolled non-stop. Eric looked pleased, but still pretended to be modest. Everyone, only buy if you really want to. I don't want to pressure anyone. All the money we earn from this stream will go toward Julia's treatment. Then, he even kissed my forehead tenderly. I resisted the urge to vomit. Just then, a message popped up on my phone from an unknown number. Only one word. Okay. My heart finally settled. The livestream chat was still flying by, but the tone had changed completely. Oh my God, Eric, you liar. What kind of perfect man? You're a murderer. Are you confused up there? What nonsense are you talking about? No. It's not nonsense. Gossip accounts just dropped the truth. Eric is a confirmed scumbag. I'm so disgusted. Turns out Julia's disability was from saving him? How could he be this vile? Watching the flood of comments shifting direction, Eric's expression changed as well. He picked up his second phone and saw that the post had already made it to the top of the trending list, exposing the true face of the internet's #1 wife pampering man, Eric. The post didn't just include evidence of how Lisa and Eric had set me up years ago, it also had photos and videos of his affairs over the years. Eric's face went completely pale. He turned to me, and when he saw the smile on my lips, realization dawned. Julia, tell them it's all fake. He said it, but his voice wasn't even that panicked, because he still believed I loved him down to my bones, that I couldn't live without him, and that I still needed him to treat my leg. But this time, he was wrong. I was awake now. I ignored him and instead opened my phone, playing the full, unedited call from before. Eric's vicious voice filled the live stream. Oh my God! So that's the full recording? I can't believe I used to stand this trash. That's straight up threatening. Poor Julia, what the hell has she been through? Trash man and fake bitch need to die. Burn in hell. Eric and Lisa. In the end, Eric looked into my cold, unwavering eyes and dropped to his knees. Helpless. Why? Julia? Why? It's because of her, isn't it? That bitch. He suddenly dragged Lisa into the frame and kicked her hard. Everyone. It's her. She seduced me. That's why I messed up. I'm going to kill her. I'll kill her. Lisa screamed and finally snapped. She lunged at Eric, clawing and biting like a madwoman. Eric, you were the one who chased after me. All these years, you followed me around like a begging dog. Eric was being hit and scratched while still clinging to my wheelchair, sobbing. Julia, please, forgive me. I can't live without you. The two of them wrestled like lunatics. Live for everyone to see. I stared at the barrage of hate comments now aimed at them, and all I could feel was bitter irony. Not long ago, I was the one being attacked. How absurd. Chapter 15. 6 months later, Eric and Lisa were imprisoned for intentional assault. Bruno was the one who took me to court that day. To my surprise, I didn't feel the anger I had once imagined. I simply recounted all the facts, calmly and clearly. In the end, Eric was sentenced to 12 years in prison, and Lisa got 10. As we walked along the street, I looked up at the sunlight and suddenly felt incredibly light. I had taken Bruno's advice and gone through with the surgery. After months of rehab, I could now stand and even walk for short distances. Without realizing it, we ended up in front of our old high school. Bruno brought me into a small steamed bun shop. Boss. 2 baskets of buns. The owner was wiping a table. When he saw Bruno, he lit up with surprise. Hey, young man, it's you. You haven't been here in ages. Bruno just smiled. But the moment I bit into that familiar taste, I froze and stared at him in disbelief. He was blowing on a fresh bun for me. And when he looked up, confused, he asked, "What? Do I have something on my face?" I suddenly remembered the buns I used to find in my desk drawer. My eyes welled up. It was you, who left those buns before. Bruno paused, then scratched his head sheepishly. You figured it out. Huh? I saw you so hungry back then, it was just too sad. So I snuck in a few buns for you. Looking at his red ears, I couldn't hold back anymore. Tears rolled down my cheeks. So it was you. No wonder, after Bruno went abroad, I never found another bun in my desk again. So it was you. Ever since meeting him again, it felt like luck had finally started to return to my life. Seeing me cry, Bruno panicked. He quickly put down the bun and reached over to wipe my tears. What's wrong? Thinking about the past again? Aw, it's my fault. I shouldn't have brought you here. I interrupted him before he could finish, tears still falling, but with a smile on my lips. Bruno, let's be together. I swear I won't bring you to places like, wait. Huh? What did you say? His eyes lit up with sheer joy, so pure, just like back then. What? You're not happy? Then forget it. What? No. No. I'm happy. I am. Totally. Absolutely. Completely happy. Bruno. You dummy. Why are you crying too? That's nonsense. It's sweat. This place is way too hot.